So we've done the linear movement, okay? And you had some basic concepts, which is the ankle angle, the knee vector, and the knee penetration. You guys remember that? Okay, so your knee doesn't go out of alignment with your foot, right? And all things being equal, you weighted midfoot balance, okay, which is in the middle of your foot. We just call it that, right? It's that area about an inch strip behind the ball of your foot and before the arch starts. Do you guys get that?
Right.
It's a line. So when you cave in your arch, then you're violating the knee vector, right? When you turn your feet out, your weight is too much towards the heels of that midfoot, right? And when I pushed my knee past my toes, I violate the principles on the back foot. Or in combination, when I let that back arch come off. But now you don't have your ground connection, nor your structural integrity. So you're probably not using Kokyu. You're probably using external forces like bracing angles and strength, okay? So that was like a year ago, that video. Now we're gonna go into the turning, but it doesn't change any of the principles, okay? So I still have to have my knee on the same vector as my foot is. I still can't push out past my toes, right? And I still have to try to have midfoot weight, right? So if I was going to do a Yumiashi forward, right, I would shift my weight, I can come to the toes, that'll give me the positive angle on that knee so that it can now push me forward. So that I'm not going to walk and get caught. If any energy is stopping me, or I'm trying to push a greater energy, it'll send me backwards. I will not be able to project down into the ground. Does everyone remember that lesson?
Yes.
If you don't, raise your hand and we'll demonstrate it again. Okay, because not everyone's walking like that yet. So, the byproduct of that process is that there's no weight on this foot. Remember that? Okay, so that's what we're going to combine, but in classic Yin and Yang theory, I'm going to now do it for a circle. That was the line, I'm going to do it for a circle. Just like in the other one, there's always a little Yin in the Yang, there's going to be a little Yang in the Yin. So when I want to turn, right, I'm going to put my foot at the angle that I want to go at, so I'm not doing that, because now my arch caved in. So wherever I want to turn, right, I can put my foot there, but I can also turn my foot with my hip. See how I'm doing that? So this is going to be obviously wrong, but you're going to want to do this. Not wrong, but not necessarily applicable every time. So we're here, and the first drill is bring your knee to your toes so that your ankle now has that positive vector that you could push with that midfoot. Push that way, okay? And all I'm going to do is connect my foot and my knee to my hip, so that when my hip rotates, all of that rotates. You see that? That's the drill. Here, knee to toes, lock all that out, turn. What am I turning on? I'm turning on that midfoot, okay? It's like, you can picture like there's something special under that, and you want to bury it into the ground. Boom. Weight on the midfoot, and you drill down. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so just as I'm going to move forward so that I can push like that, that's the same midfoot weight that I'm using to drive into the ground. Got it? So I'm going to generate that relationship. Foot, knee, hip, right? Shoulder, elbow angle in this case. And I use that to turn. So when I go to here, do you see what happened? Okay. My arch tapered. So I violate the rule of the knee and foot angle. So roll, turn. See how I do that? Okay, now this same relationship of locking or organizing my ankle, knee, and hip, I use over here. So I do the same drill, but it's not going to be a freebie in this. So as this hip rotates around, goes around, you see how that hip rotates. You can't have your hips do this kind of thing. So if I lock or organize my knee and foot to my elbow and shoulder, then as this foot rotates, this hip rotates forward, this hip rotates back, my knee and foot will come back without me stepping them. Okay? So generate the positive angle, drill, and you see where my foot comes in. So I don't have to go here and then, you see that was after. Nor do I go here and my foot came across. How could it go across? Because you broke the organization of your knee to hip. Do you guys understand that?
Yes.
So as you're turning, boom, you start to go like this. Turn the hip, and the foot will go, and you will end up in on. You will not end up on the tightrope Aikido, which doesn't work. It's not martial. So, boom, body, boom. It'll bring the foot. Okay, try it.
Okay.
All right, some beginner mistakes is you drilling up. You're drilling up because you actually didn't have this foot de-weighted. See that? So the only way you're going to de-weight it is to push up, and then you can move it on the ground. It's not de-weighted because you didn't drive down into this foot. Okay? You drive down, and your imagery and the sensation of your foot should be a torquing, pressing down, the exact opposite of this, okay? So here, push down, boom. Take and put more weight on here, not less weight on here, okay? So don't spring up. Second one, you're like too straight. You see your body's like this, okay? So if I push my knee so that I get the midfoot weight and I sit up, you see that? Look at my rear arch, caves in. Okay. So you're anatomically, biomechanically, you just can't do it. Strategically, this is not a fighting posture. Okay? You want to engage that rear posterior chain, so you're going to have a cant, and you don't want to get your head knocked off, so you're going to have a cant. You see that? You're not going to go here like this. So if you're trying to do this and you're too straight, you've already set yourself up for failure. All right? If I happen to be, some people have like very frog-like points of articulation, such that you can keep that arch down, right? But it's not pressurized. It's too soft everywhere, right? And secondly, if you watch, I go here, and now when I sit up, what's happening in terms of weight distribution? It's going that way, and I need to de-weight that foot. You see that? And so you will tend to do a double pivot. You're going to turn here, in between your feet. You see that? And the other one is a single point pivot. I'm turning over my foot. You see that? So you have to pay attention to that, because double pivots is when people hit you, boom, they knock you off the line, because you're on a tightrope. So put as much weight here and don't sit up. Of course, you might make the opposite mistake, but when you do that, what happened to my knee? Went past my toes, so you violated that rule. Okay? Here, try it. So remember, if you go back to this lesson, if I don't get that positive midfoot weight on there, right? And basically I'm switching ground path from one foot to the other. So right now, midfoot weight's on the back foot. So he's pushing and he's just grinding that back foot down, which is different from this. This is just, he's using friction and I'm using this bracing ankle. So we're here and he's pushing and he's just grinding that down. And because this is not a bracing angle, don't let go as you feel, okay? Then that's how you can do things like this. It's just one ground path. Do you understand that? And I'm not leaning on him to do this. So he's here, right? And you can see he's just pushing, push. He's just doing that. Oh, no. Midfoot, ground, into the ground. And you can do different things with it. Midfoot into the ground. Midfoot into the ground. Okay? So same thing here. When I switch it, when I go to here, then that foot is it, and that's what allows that foot to walk. You understand that? Because if I do the other one, and he's pushing, and I go like this, he's gonna get me mid-stroke. Okay? So I'm learning how to make a single foot, the midfoot, the ground path. So same thing here. When I go here, I still have that single foot. This foot's not doing it. Okay? But what I'm interested in is rotational integrity. So I move, I arm that foot, and I want to see that my body has rotational integrity, meaning I'm not going to go like this. Everything stays connected and organized. The ground path is not necessarily what I'm focusing on. I'm just using it. So I'm checking foot, knee, hip, elbow, shoulder angle. Or integrity. That's what I'm doing. Don't confuse that with this. This is double pivot. Single point pivot. Okay, let's try. So, if I use this rotation, the weight is still on that foot. Then this foot goes back, and I come back to ankle straight. You see that? So I don't want to come back here. I'm not doing that in a Tenkan. I definitely don't want to be mid-balance. So we come back to ankle straight. I started ankle straight. I adjust for the positive vector. I drill. Boom, this foot is with me. Then this foot goes back. Don't de-weight. Boom, till that foot is there. Then you come back to the right angle of your ankle. So instead of going like this, where your center of gravity and your line of gravity is between your feet. You see that?
Okay.
There, you're here like this. You're double pivoting, and the angle, the vector or the line of gravity is in between. No, should be over this foot. Should be over this foot. Then this foot goes straight back, and then you return to the neutral angle of your right angle being 90 degrees. Not back, not forward. Your knee is going where your foot is going. So, no. If you want your knee there, what should you do with your foot? Turn it. Okay? And this brings us the linearity or the yang version, the yang element of the technique. Here, drill, back. Okay? Try it.
Okay.